Hello, everyone. We're Team Mackenzie Frenzy, and our project is called Go Next GG.
My name is Logan Bird, and I mainly focused on front end design and setting up caching system for the different games within our system.
And my name is Dion Burns. I've mainly focused on working on some of the back-end logic as well as implementing and incorporating the database into our system.
My name is Ethan Darling, and I also worked on the back end and database, and I did a little bit of work in security and authentication.
And then my name is Sean McElfresh, and I primarily worked on the recommendation algorithm that our project has, and also helping around with both front end and back end.
So, what is Go Next GG? Well, the project is a web application that provides a unified game library where users can manage their collections using tags, genres, platforms, and custom lists. It offers personalized recommendations based on user activity and ratings, along with community driven reviews and moderated discussions to ensure trustworthy, gamer focused feedback.
So here is Go Next GG. As you can see, we have several different main components that are made up to show off the different game aspects. Right here is kind of like a main banner that shows off main games for different categories. It will cycle between the different pictures as well as show off just a little bit of details within the thing. We also have browse by category, which has the different categories that we have labels for within the game systems. And you can click and show off the different aspects of that. Here we have different banners for the different categories of the different games where it has the top 6 games of the respective category. And whenever the user hovers over it, it will show off a little bit of a description of the game that is being hovered over, as well as cycle through different images for that game, as you can see here. On top of that, there's also a recommender system where if the user is logged in, it will recommend games to that user. If not, it will recommend like the top 10 games. We'll touch more on that later though. So let us click into a game like Minecraft. In Minecraft, we start off by having the banner at the top in kind of a fade, as well as a main picture. You can click through the different images here. It has the details of the game, as well as a different rating system. And at the very bottom, it has similar games or more games like this within the Minecraft series. On the right, it shows off ratings, the age range, release date, developer, publisher, about the average playtime within users, achievements, and the platforms that they are on. The information from that we're getting all this for the different games come from ROG, as shown here, which is a large API system of game details that has images, videos, like the game details, and the different reviews for that. So, whenever we do access the the game details information, we are we don't want to always get a hit from the different API because that will be very expensive. For example, the homepage has almost 100 different calls that is needed for all the different games that are on it. So the way we work around this is having a caching system using Redis. So as shown here, whenever a user clicks on a different game or accesses the homepage, we set up where it will initially store the information within our own MongoDB database, but then also set up a caching system on Redis. This makes it so the first user that accesses our website will have to initially load in the information, but from there, the user can then access through Redis to make it faster. So as you can see here, we have all the information of the home page that is stored here, but then inside of games, we have the specific games. So whenever a user clicks on a new game that is not already loaded into our Redis or thing or MongoDB, it will use an API call hit to store within our Mongo and our Redis account to make the load faster for future time. Right now, the time that is stored in the cache is low because of our lack of user base. But if we have a higher user base, then the times would adjust accordingly. So on top of this, we have in our component in our navbar, we have the search feature.
So our search bar feature allows for users on the home page or community page to easily look up games. So for example, if we want to look up a game like Mario, it has an auto-complete feature where it will try to figure out the best match, and you can easily click on games from the search bar feature and go to that game details page. Now, another feature of it is if you, for some reason, don't find the correct game in that little 5-bar matching, you can also click the search icon and it'll pull up 25 of the best results. And another thing about our searching is if we go back to our home page, if you click on one of our categories, you can also search by category and it'll pull up games that follow with that category.
Okay, so our account and website also has features such as security and also authentication. So we can have a personal email username displaying a name and a password. With this, the passwords get stashed into a bcrypt hashing algorithm, which uses salting, which basically prevents anyone who has access to the database from looking at the password. With this, and once the user creates an account through the front end, we send an API request to the back end that stores this in our MongoDB database. And after Logan creates the account, and after he does that, we store a JSON web token, which basically keeps track of the user's logged in section. So if they try to go to a specific route that they can't access, then that will get denied, and we can update the JSON web token for different time periods.
Okay, so the library is the way that our users are meant to keep track of the games that they want to add to the website. So when you click on the library button on the top after you log in, you'll be greeted to this screen where it says create a folder right here. Now, a folder is just a collection of games, and these collections can pretty much be whatever you want. We'll make one that's called horror, like a collection of horror games. So when you create a folder, it'll appear right then and there, right there. We presented with an option to add another folder, edit a folder, delete a folder. C, you can add a game to a folder and look up a game. We'll just say something like Resident Evil 4. And click on it. You can tag which folder you want to add it to, as well as its current status. We'll list as completed. And as you can see, it shows up right then and there in our horror folder. So when you click on that horror folder, you can get an even closer look at the game, where clicking on the game goes you straight to the game's details page of said game. You can see right there. Exiting out from the folder, again, there are a couple different options you can do. You can add another folder. Say we want to add another folder, this time for adventure games. You can create it and it displays right then and there. You can edit the name of the folder. So if you want adventure to be called something else, just call it games that are fun to play with friends, or adventure 123, something like that. You can rename it, and let's say we don't want the games fun folder anymore, we can quite simply just delete it with the button right then and there.
So this is our different database, and as we can see in our auth user section, you can see the different password hashing as well as the new user that we created here. We have the different folder games, which has games within the user folder based off of the user ID. We have the different games that is stored also within here, and most importantly, the user recommendation.
Which on here, we just saved the top 10 of the best matching games, just their ROG IDs, so we're easily able to pull them for the front end. And if you go back to the home page, now the recommendation will work for users. and it would pop up different games based off of users.